So a little chanting here this morning. Okay. Priyapatigam Havamahe Nidinatha Nidipatigam Havamahe Vaso Mama Aham Jani Gargadamatum Jasi Garbhadam Om Naratna Samagiyuktam Muktar Vibhushitam Swarnasam Asam Charu Pratyatam Praktigriyatam Om Naratna Samagiyuktam Vibhushitam Swarnasam Asanam Charu Pratyatam Praktigriyatam Om Smukashchakadam chascha Kapilo Gatikarnakaha Ramurarascha Vikato Vingnasha Vinayakaha Dhumkito Ganajaksha Balachandra Gajananaha Dhvatushatani Manani Dampate Chinyadipi Vijarame Vivahi Chapradeshi Nirmigretata Sangrame Sankate Chaiva Vignastasya Najayate Vignabalikutare Shri Ganadhi Pataye Namaha Vakratunda Mahakriya Suri Kutti Samaprabha Haminam Kume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarva Shiknam Badadam Vishnum Shashivanam Chitubhijam Prasanna Vananam Dayit Sarvigna Prashantaye Lavastesham Jayastesham Kutastesham Purajaya Yesham Invarashamo Hridesho Janardanaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Okay, good morning, friends. Thanks for joining. Lori and Megan and Sam, Stephanie, Tracy, YTT Cruz here, Gretchen, Maggie. Let's see, John, glad that you're on. Haven't met you before. Looking forward to that at some point. Let me change the light here just a little bit. So From the dark to the light. Okay. All right. Leslie, glad you're here. So thanks for joining, friends. And just a couple of announcements. So I am going to take a little bit of time away here the next couple of weeks or so, and just for a little bit of a heart healing sojourn into the desert. And so I may be streaming, though. I don't really know where I'm going to be, actually. But if I do have the capacity to guide our Saturday morning class, I will. So check as you normally would. I'll post something on social media, kind of a thing. If I am going to do that, kind of how I normally do that. And yeah, that's the big. And then the other announcement that I have is this Saturday morning class, when I come back, probably starting in April at some point, will be live streamed from a new studio that's opening. It's called Ahimsa Yoga. Ahimsa, we know that word is nonviolence. And it's a sweet little spot down in 6th Avenue in Downing. And I know, Gretchen, you're close to that area. And I will be doing live in person and live streaming. And it's going to be this exact same format. So it'll be this, roughly 2-hour block of time, hour and 45 minutes in time. And so the studio is being really gracious in allowing me to have a full, set of time in there. So come find me, Ahimsa Yoga. And I don't think they're even open yet. I think they'll open next week or so, something like that. So that'll be fun for those of you who want to come practice live. Yep, Gretchen, awesome. And then I wanted to talk about the whole substratum thing, Dharmi, and I had this whole line of thinking saying, oh, what is the substratum of a snowflake? And then thinking, we'll do some stretching this morning to loosen our muscles up for snow shoveling, and none of that's happening. We'll see. But the substratum of a snowflake is what? Any guesses out there? Water, right? Water. And the whole kind of creation is like that. Everything that you see in the physical realm, has a substratum of the elements, right? So if you're like looking at your yoga mat or your seated meditation cushion or your cup of chai, right? Clay, some paint, water. So the substratum of the cup. But what I'm more interested in is the perception of the imagination that created this. That's what I'm really interested in. Is somewhere this cup existed in imagination before it came into the physical realm. And somewhere in that thought process of imagination is the capacity of awareness. Like, I was also considering what's the substratum of sound? Silence. And so there's this thing in the universe. The rhythm is the word that the yogis use, rhythm, and it means law or rhythm of the universe. And one of the laws of the universe is that the cause is inherent in the effect. We've kind of talked about this before. Samkhya philosophy, the philosophy of yoga, states that there is a succession of the stream of the becoming of the universe. And in that succession, there is effect, which we can say is the cup, but the cause exists within the cup. So here I have my chai cup, but there is clay and there is glaze on it. There is, there's chai in it, but there's water also inside the clay. That is the cause of the cup. And it's in it. And so what yoga wants us to understand is that we can take the capacity of our perception and allow it to move back in time, essentially. Or if you don't want to use like a linear example, we're able to perceive the substratum or the Dharmi of the thing that we're experiencing in whatever plane we're at. The substratum of sound is silence. And if you just take a moment to feel that, you can access a deeper plane of awareness. Eventually, what happens is the perception is through practice is always a little bit tethered to that present moment, to that stillness, to that sense of silence, that sense of peace, that sense of innate joy that is also a component of the origin of the universe, the origin of consciousness or spirit. And that's really the highest teaching. What our practice does is allows us to kind of peel back the layers of our thinking mind, of the dominance that our emotions drive our being, and allows it to just tether itself slightly to a higher plane of experience. And so when we go through our class today, I'll invite us, kind of through that spectrum of succession, through the krama, into the stillness. So thank you, friends, for chai and chat. Dharmi, the substratum, cause is inherent in the effect. The theory of Satkaryabad, located in Samkhya philosophy, teachings of yoga. All right. So just get comfortable. And begin to breathe into the belly. We know this technique as the belly extends outward as we inhale and gently floats towards the spine as we exhale. One might say the cause of the mind is the divine. Is consciousness. But the tool of the mind, Sri Aurobindo, one of my teachers, if you will, The nature of the mind is to divide, to break things down into smaller parts so understanding can be developed. The mind is naturally a limiting tool. It's, if you will, it's small. It apportions everything that it comes in contact with. So for the yogin, we want to begin to expand the possibility of something much wider. The purna, the whole, or the oneness. Begin to set a sankalpa, an intention, and maybe include something that, say, you've divided in your life. Something that you've made smaller by the mind's need to understand it. And maybe if you could just zoom out, you can even see yourself broadening your positioning and including a circular awareness, something that encompasses the whole possibility. And we'll chant a couple of Oms as an activating quality to the sadhana. Exhale the breath. Maybe inhale. And then again, another big inhale. And then one more nice big inhale. Okay, friends. Gently slip off of any seated support that you may be on or near. So move this over here. We'll stay in seated position for a bit and just bring the hands to the knees here, and then just gently inhale, float the heart forward, lean forward, and then exhale, rounding, rocking back on the sacrum. You can round the back here, little stretch of the back body, and then inhale, float open. And so, like for the yoga, so much of our lives is spent in the mind's division to interpret experience. And when we do our sadhana practice, we kind of pierce through the veils of, say, limitation, but it's so much more than that. It's the perceptual field of, as Lori said, of the cognitive objects. And just continue here. And so we invite actually an expansion in the being. Begin to circle, say float to the right and around. Continue to kind of inhale as you sweep forward and exhale as you draw back. So we kind of pierce through the veil of this objective reality that we are so conditioned to experience, and then allow, if you will, for the maturation of our perception through, the substratum, through the layers of our capabilities. Switch directions here. And then if, again, you never ever need an anchor to this concept, let the being be anchored with this idea that the substratum to sound is silence. Just come to neutral position here. A little side body stretch. Extend the right arm out, left palm turns up, and float arm up. Exhale it over the head and just really put some energy to reach through the length of the side body here. Heart spins open a little bit. The upper arm bone is externally rotating. Really kind of feel the shoulder blade integrate into the back ribs. Breath is fluid breathing. And then gently inhale, float on up. Then exhale, float the hand and arm down. Ground this left arm, and then we'll switch to right palm turns up, inhale, float arm up. And exhale it over. And what I would also add to expand this capacity, so engaging tricep, reaching, heart open. How we do what we do, I feel, is probably the most relevant part of our practice and our life. Because if we can entertain some form of fluidity in what we do, gently inhale, float, hand and arm up, gently exhale, release it down. And that's why I use those types of words, is so that we're conditioning our being in a more refined way. So palms spin open, inhale, float, hands, arms up. So float, right? And then twisting to the right and just gently release this left hand down on the outside of that right leg, right arm behind you. Extend the spine so grow tall here again. That when we're really observing how we do what we do, and if, say, we bring some subtlety, some fluidity, some refinement, then we're communicating to the being the possibility of thinning of the veil of our perceptive realities, because our gross experience is literally becoming more refined. So if we're moving quickly, if we're breathing harshly, if we're, thinking about other things when we practice, then all of these add versus take away the layering of our perceptive capabilities. We're just breathing here. Big inhale, and exhale softly, release, and then gently inhale, float hands and arms up. Twisting now to the left, float arms down. Extend spine. How we do what we do. Oh, yay. And then big inhale here. And then exhale, softly release to neutral position. So we'll come off of the seated position now. So make your way to a tabletop position. Firmly ground the hands, lift the fingers, spread nice and wide, knees stack under the hips or a little bit behind. I create a little longer stance for my body. It will just loosen up the body here some by, circling the hips. And again, include your breathing. And it feels like when we move from like gross capacity in the experience to more subtle fabric of doing, right? Then that, like the essence, switching directions, the essence of that silence begins to build inside the being, inside the mind, inside the quality of your perception. And then gently we will meet in puppy pose. So float the heart towards the earth, forehead earth, hips stay lifted here, please. Yeah. Just breathe. And then gently round into the upper back as you inhale. Keep inhaling as the hips release down, the gaze kind of floats up, hips down. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back, float back into puppy pose here. So again, hips stay lifted and then back up. So just continue a few rounds. And just add this essence of fluidity into it. So smooth the movement, smooth the breath. It's how we do what we do. Very nice. And then to a neutral position here, a little twist. So ground the left hand under the face with an inhale, float the right hand gently to the sky. Give the wrist a little bit of a spin here. Breathe deeply. And a nice big inhale and exhale, feeding slowly the right hand through on the inside of left shoulder and ear to that. Left hand reaches to the top edge of the mat. Hips drift to the right to seal the twist along the length of the spine. Breathe in. Yep. And then a nice big inhale. And then exhale the left hand back underneath you. Ground it. A little counter twist. Float gently the right hand to the sky. And then release it down. We'll switch. So ground firmly the right hand, fingers spread. Arm is firm here. And I'll float left. Reach in. Wrist spins. Stay with your breathing. Big inhale. Gently float. Threading the needle. Shoulder, ear. Right hand reaches hips to the left. Just breathe. And nice big inhale and exhale. Right hand back underneath you, ground that inhale, float left. And exhale, gently release to neutral position. So I'm just going to spin around, face y'all. Extend the right leg out to the right, the toes point forward here. And then let the hips drift back and we bend the elbows, come under the forearms. So sweet stretch of that high hamstring, inner groin area. The pubic bone can energetically draw back. We're finding the stretch inside there. Just stay with the breath. Yeah. And then gently inhale, float up to neutral ground. When you're ready, the left hand inhale, float slowly the right arm to the sky. Another little twist here. Yeah. And a nice big inhale. Next, so gently release down. And then check this out. We're not quite done. Sweep this right foot on the outside of the left knee. We create a figure four. My toes are tucked under or the top of the foot you choose. Hands ground, hips drift back, and we come onto the forearms here and just breathe. Yeah. And then gently, and they'll float up to neutral. And then we'll switch this out, right? And so it's almost like the Zen master, if you will, having that kind of approach to everything where everything has like a sacred quality to it. There's always this quest for something that's really supple and subtle, very present. And that attitude, that state of mind becomes rather a state of being in the life. There's a sense of permanency that can emerge there. Yep. And then gently, float up to neutral. Right hand grounds when you're ready. Flow left arms, so reaching. Breathe here. Yeah, nice big inhale. And exhale, gently float the hand down, back, and sweeping now this left foot on the outside of that. Right leg figure four again. And then sinking. It's like how we walk on the earth, even, it's like if we can really just be very tender, and we're always kind of piercing the veil of the physical world, allowing for the capacity of our being to enter into the Dharmi, into the substratum of experience, the perception, the lightness, literally and figuratively. Yeah, gently float on up to neutral. Here we'll meet in down dog. So when you're ready, just tuck the back toes under, of course, hips lift. Come on up, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take any time that you need for any little movements or wiggling. Oh, yeah. Breathing deeply, fluidly. Really flatten out the plane of the hands so strong foundation is established. Draping triceps towards the earth. Breath is deep. Just sustain the experience. A little endurance here. Breathe lightness into the body. And then we'll meet in Balasana, we'll meet in Child's Pose. So the knees we go, hips to the heels, forehead, earth, hands flow back to the ankles here. Breathing into the belly. And then very gently here, float up to neutral. And we'll meet back into downward facing dog. So gently lift the hips, exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Yep. Ooh. And then gently float now the right leg behind you, hip height. Pause there. And then take a nice big inhale, and exhale, draw the right knee towards the right elbow. Give us a little squeeze and a kiss that way. And then inhale slowly the leg behind you. And then again, just notice how quickly you're moving. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, squeeze it in. And then gently inhale, float the leg behind you. Exhale, release it down, and we'll switch. Float the left leg. Yeah, I see a lot of quick movements in these yoga classes, and Let's slow everything down. Be really perceptive of our experience. A big inhale. Exhale slowly, left knee, left elbow, a little squeeze in. And then inhale, leg behind you. And then exhale, left to right, squeeze it in. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, gently release the leg down. Stay with your breathing here. So nice. Inhale into high plank here. Pause in high plank. Take a moment there. And then gently release to the knees, all the way to the belly. Bhujangasana is our destination. Cobra, we know this. So feet, tops of the feet, hips, hands ground. And then inhale, foot, torso, shoulders pivot away from the ears, elbows drop towards side bodies. Just breathe here. Stay with the breath. And a nice big inhale. And exhale, float torso, forehead down. And then again, float on up. And exhale, float down. One more of these. Float on up. And then tuck the back toes under. And exhale, lift the hips back into downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana here, down dog. Breathe in. And then gently Uttanasana. So forward fold, top of the mat gently. Again, now walk the feet to the top of the mat here. A little space in between the feet. Lengthen the crown of the head towards the earth. Let the weight build into the big toe mounds. Head can stir. A little yes and no. Grabbing opposite elbows here. Breathe in. Belly to the spine. And then just subtly float half lift here. Ardha Uttanasana, hands mid-shins lengthen, tilt the crown. Take a moment here for a couple breaths. And then a nice big inhale. And then exhale slowly, just hinge deeper into the form. Chin tucks, hands come down, and we'll pulse that a couple times with breathing. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding. One more. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Little bend the knees, and then send now the left leg back into the lunge. Engage the back of the quad here. It's kind of a high stance, heels lifting. Then feel the parts of the body, whether it be the engagement of the quad, different things, hands, feet. But then just notice that you're perceiving those experiences. That's the key. And then from here, inhale gently, straighten the front leg. Forehead draws to the shin here. Pause for a moment. Really ground the big toe mound of that front foot and track the outside of that right hip back. And a nice big inhale. Then exhale, bend the front leg knee and sink into it. We'll pulse this now 2 times. Inhale, straighten. Gently exhale, bend. Again, moving slowly, slowly. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And then from here, making adjustments to the stance, hands to the right knee or thigh. So Vajrasana, crescent pose. So come on up here. Gently, when you're ready, float the hands and arms over the head and just reach real tall. Breathe deeply. And then capture the left wrist with the right hand and then just float over to the right as you lift the left heel. Breathe here. And then gently inhale, float to neutral. Exhale, float all the way down. Here, hands plant. Step back, high plank, high push-up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, 8 points bowing, knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga Pranayama. Inhale, pull forward, Cobra or upward facing dog, you choose. Then exhale, down dog. Breathe in. So good. And a little bend in the knees here. And left foot steps gently to the left hand. Notice how you put the foot down on your mat. It's nice and light and subtle. Right? How we do what we do. Back leg quads firming, squeezing the inner thighs, and then with an inhale, straighten the front leg forward towards the shin. Just pause here again. Really ground big toe mountain, float now the outside that left hip back. Yeah, and then a nice big inhale. Exhale, bend the front leg knee. And then again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. You're making adjustments to the stance here, hands to the left knee or thigh. So come on up here with the torso. When you're ready, we just gently float the hands and arms to the sky, reach in. Breathing deeply. Little movement. And then capture now the right wrist with the left hand. Lean over to the left and lift all the right heel all the way as much as you can. Breathe deeply here, friends. Yeah, and then a nice big inhale. Exhale, slowly release all the way down. Back foot steps to the top of the mat, Uttanasana. Breathing deeply. Little bend in the knees, cactus the arms flat, back to standing, inhaling all the way up. Reach, float the body a bit. Little sway side to side. And then from here, keep the core active. Pubic bone draws back. Let the palms face front and then just turn it into a standing back bend. So just lean back, reach through the tips of the fingers. Keep core active here. Heart's opening. Yeah, and then with an inhale, bend the elbows so we cactus the arms. Shoulders can move away from the ears here, integrating shoulder blades into the back body. You can squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades towards one another with the rhomboids, lifting the heart even more. That's it. And then inhale, reach to the sky. Slowly exhale, float the hands down. And behind you, interlace fingers, inhale, breath. And then exhale, bend the knees generously as you hinge at the hips and begin to float the hands and arms over the head. Take it easy on the body here, slowly moving. And then gently you can straighten the legs when that makes sense. Yeah. Ooh. Then a big inhale, exhale, release the grip of the hands here. Send now the right leg back into the lunge and float upper body and arms now. So we're back into Vajrasana. Surf your way back into that. Heel is lifting, breath is deep. Always recognizing that in the fabric of experience, there's always a sense of perceptive peace that's just hanging out there. It just is always there. Yeah, big inhale. Exhale, left hand to the left waist, a twist here. So inhale, reach right hand forward. Pause here for a second. Really engage back leg quad. And then take this right hand on the outside of left knee or thigh, sinking armpit to knee. Left hand covers the right. Open the heart here. Stay with the breath. Taking it deeper, right hand to the earth and the left hand to the sky. Open up. And deeper still, left arm over the head towards the front and just reach. Stay with your breathing. Nice big inhale and exhale, soften out of it. Hands plant. Nicely done, friends. Step back into high plank, high push-up. Pausing. And then gently releasing to the earth. This time we'll extend the hands and arms long in front of us. Yeah. So just reach long in front. And then when you're ready, float the right arm and the left leg. And just reach. Stay with the breath. Right arm and left leg. That lifted leg extended back as much as you are trying to lift it up. Breathe here. Yep. A nice big inhale. And exhale, arm and leg down. And then when you're ready, firmly ground that right hand in a float left arm. Feel that first. And then the right leg. And then that right leg, you're lifting it up as much as you are trying to send it back. Just breathe here. Stay with the breath. Oh, yay. Yep. Nice big inhale. And exhale, release everything down. Take a moment here. Little breather. And then ground firmly the left hand once again. Then I'll float the right arm. Feel that. And then the left leg. Feel that. Breathe here. And again, that lifted leg, you're reaching it back as much as you are up. Same with the arm. We're reaching it forward. Breathing. Nice big inhale here. And exhale, release everything down. And we'll switch. So ground the right hand firmly. And we'll float the left arm first. Feel that. And then the right leg. Breathe. Leg goes back. Arm reaches forward and up. Breathe here. Yep. A nice big inhale. And exhale, gently release everything down. Draw the hands under the armpits here. Float up into a tabletop position. Pause here. Take a moment, let the back adjust. And then we'll meet in Balasana, child's pose. Gently float back. Forehead, earth, hips to the heels. Hands stay extended. This time just breathe. Hand to the belly. Wonderful. And then gently, float to tabletop. And subtly we'll meet back into downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Nourish the body with deep breathing. Deep breathing nourishes the body. Nice, friends. And then gently step the right foot to the right hand here. And then float torso, float arms. Start back up, reaching. A little pulsing action. A nice big inhale and exhale. Now right hand, right waist. Reach left hand forward. Yeah, and take a moment here for perception to allow for the mind to move into, say, a unified experience. And then fist, left hand, elbow on the outside of near thigh, sinking armpit to knee. Right hand covers the left. Re-engage the quad of the back leg. Right shoulder, away from the right ear. Let that spin open the heart. And then deeper still, left hand earth, right hand stars. And maybe that right arm is over the head. And just stay with the breath. Breathe in. And a nice big inhale. Exhale, hand down, look down, forward fold, back foot steps to the top of the mat. And then lifting all the way to standing, cactus the arms, inhale, flat back reach. Hands and arms over the head. Sway the body a little bit. And then gently float the hands down by the sides here. The palms turn open. Eyes can close. The guidance here is to begin to identify with the space that's surrounding the body. So move through the plane of form into the Akash, into a sense of space. Nice, friends. So little one movement with one breath here in Surya Namaskar. You know, this is sun salutation. And I'll get us through this. Pretty simple. Gently open the eyes and then inhale, float, hands and arms up, reach. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Really subtle, how you do what you do. Inhale, flat back, half lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, send the left leg back into the lunge. Inhale, float, hands and arms. Again, just moving really smooth. Exhale, float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back, high plank, high push up. Inhale, your breathing here. Exhale, 8 points, bowing, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, float forward into upward facing dog. Exhale, gently back into down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Gently exhale, place left foot, left hand. Inhale, float, torso, arms, reach. Exhale, back foot steps, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Namaskar to standing. We go, upward salutation. Gaze up, exhale, hands prayer. Yep. And then inhale, reach, hands and arms. Exhale, float, forward fold. Chin tucks. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, send now right back, leg back. Inhale, float torso, float arms, so float up. And exhale, gently float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back, high plank, high push up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, pull forward, Cobra up dog. Exhale, lift the hips, down dog. Inhale, right leg behind you. Slowly float, right foot, right hand. How you do what you do, friends. Inhale, float torso, float arms. And exhale, gently float back foot, folding forward, top of the mat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, heart center. We'll do one more round. The guidance here is to identify with the silence. Inhale, hands and arms. Exhale, hinge. Left leg goes back. Inhale, float. Exhale, release. High plank, inhale, breath. Exhale, 8 points. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, foot through. Inhale, float. Exhale, back foot steps. Inhale to standing, we go, reach. Exhale, heart. Last side. Identifying with the silence. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge slowly. Right leg. Inhale, float torso. Exhale, float. High plank. Inhale. 8 points. Exhale. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down. Inhale, float right leg. Exhale, right foot, right hand. Here, inhale, float torso. Exhale, back foot steps, fully forward. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, heart center. Close the eyes here, take a moment. And again, allow for this sense of purna, wholeness, the calibration of perception to be guided into that quality. And gently we'll do some balancing poses here. So work the weight into this right leg and just simply float the left leg. And then a figure 4 here, opening the knee. Hands to prayer at the heart. And then just gently sink into the standing leg knee. And just let the yoga pose meet you where the body is expressing itself. But some of you may want to go a little deeper. That's all fine. Maybe the hands to the earth even. Take a moment here. Just breathe. Just recognizing the fabric of silence. We can see the sensations of the body and their information. And then behind that, in the substratum, is the cause. Yeah. And then gently in the foot up just halfway, and then take the left elbow into the instep of the left foot, sinking, hands to prayer. Just a little twist to the right. Breathe here. And not quite done. Gently release the hands down and float the knee up. Push the floor away. Come to standing. Find your balance there. And then we'll hinge at the hips, falling forward, and capture the foot, interlacing the fingers underneath the foot. Breathe here. A little wobble on my part. And you can stay here or straighten that left leg. Stay with the breath. Breathe. And then engage the core, engage the quad. Release the foot, draw the arms over the head. Then a 45-degree angle with the leg, and then just gently float the foot back to meet the other foot and reach to the sky. A little floatiness. And then the hands down by the sides here. Begin to put weight now into the left leg. Float the right. So we're here in balance. Figure 4, hands to prayer. And just begin to bend in the standing leg knee, sinking a little lower. Breathing. Stay with your breath. Hands maybe to the earth. And then float up halfway. Right elbow into right instep. Hands to prayer. A little twist now to the left. Breathe in. And then gently the hands reach down, come to standing. So float that right leg up, push the floor away with the left leg. Pausing here. And then hinging at the hips here, interlacing fingers underneath that right foot. And then possibly extending the right leg. Breathe here. Stay with the breath. Keep the core active in the quad, release the foot, and then draw the hands and arms over the head. Reach in, and then gently float this foot back. Reach real tall to the sky here. And soften. And float the hands down to the sides. Little bend the knees here, close the eyes. Take a moment. Find your breath. Let the experience turn into the Purna, into the oneness, the wholeness. Sri Aurobindo talked about identifying with the objects of perception through the lens of wholeness. Nice. Then we'll float into Balasana here, garland pose. So the toes turn open, heels turn in. Squatting, and just be mindful for knee or hip issues. Just kind of work through that gently. Make your way to the earth here. Yeah, there was this story that he told about the mother, which was his spiritual consort, and actually it was the mother that was describing this. At the time, she was 95, and she was saying that her knee hit a table on the corner. And she went on to say that initially there was pain that was felt, but then she altered her perception, where she merged her perception into the table, completely becoming perceptibly that object. And she described how the pain went away. She moved from a state of form to a state of formless in her capacity. Yep. And a little twist here. So ground the right hand, and then in, I'll float the left arm. Breathe. We'll bind this if you choose. If it's in your practice, the thumbs turn down, so internally rotate, arms, elbows bend, and then maybe interlace fingers. Open this left shoulder, gaze is up. And just squeeze in there a little bit. Yep. And then gently release. Yeah, Aurobindo we'll switch left earth, right stars. Was really big on this perception by direct identity is what he called it. Green. Thumbs turned down, elbows bend. This summer, we unraveled Pratyaksha perception, and then we brought in the subject of Yogi Pratyaksha, and that is perception by direct identity, identifying with the consciousness. Yep. Breathing. Always seeing the stillness, the seer. Yeah, in the scene, right? The scene is object, the seer is the subtle fabric. So we're releasing here if you haven't already. But we're still in this position and just in silence, in perception. No real form here. And then we'll float out of this. So hands to the earth behind you, hips release down. Take a moment, just let the hips relax. And then Janu Shirsasana, head to knee pose. Extend the left leg. The right opens. The foot draws to the inner thigh of that left leg. We'll do kind of the full rendition of this. First, starting with a twist. Take the left hand on the outside of the right knee, twisting to the right. Extend the spine, so sit tall. You'll notice that if you draw the shoulder blades down the back and towards one another and engage lightly, the core muscles, the spine will lengthen. Setting a nice firm foundation. Make sure the toes are spread of the left foot, looking over the right shoulder. And then begin to breathe into the belly here. Going into that. Yay. And then a nice big inhale. And then exhale. Soften out of it. Twist the torso, extending the shoulders over. They extend the leg. And then from here, like we do, we'll just grab the shin. And there's no down of this. There's up. And sometimes there's a tendency to lead with the chin. And the guidance here is to just tuck the chin a little bit. That actually puts energy through the length of the spine. You might play with drawing the belly button to the spine. That'll really pursue a deep action in the pelvic floor. Opening the hamstring significantly from its core. Yeah. And then the hands can float to the feet here if that's, again, in your practice. Keep long, though. I haven't rounded my spine at all. Yeah, stay with the breath. And we'll get that opportunity, though. Inhaling. Then exhale, gently round. The head can release here. Oh, and breathe into the back body. Always, honestly, very magical. Ooh. And then gently, belly to the spine, inhale, come up. We're not quite done, though. So from this position, turn this left palm up and ground it on the inside of the left leg. I'm going to adjust my position just a little bit here, so a bigger view of me. So we're here. And then open this right shoulder and float the right arm to the sky. Take the gaze up if you wish. The spine is long, so sometimes there's a tendency to begin to collapse into this left side body. And the guidance is to really keep some length here. And then inch this left hand towards the foot, so sink a little deeper into the hip. And I've grabbed my big toe mount here, and I'm putting some leverage in the shin. And then let's first work with this a bit. Bring this right hand behind you to the sacrum and just open the shoulder. And then sink a little deeper into it. Yeah. And then from this position, we'll see how this goes. Knife the arm across the body and up. Just knife it up. And then some of you may want to try and reach deeper into this by actually capturing the foot. Stay with the breath here. Breathe in. And then gently ground the left arm. Inhale, float the right arm up and out of it. Slowly float the right arm down. And just take a moment to feel. Yeah. And we'll unravel and switch this out. So extend the right leg when you're ready. Draw left knee in, foot grounds inside of the thigh. Here, make any little adjustments. Spread the toes, right foot, twist now to the left. Lengthen the spine, sit tall. You can kind of squeeze now that left shoulder blade towards the spine. It deepens into the sensation of the twist. Breathe in. Such a potent form that the body can take. And then gently soften out of it here. And then we twist the torso over the extended leg. Once again, capture the shin. And we take our time with this, right? And just notice if there's any tendency in you to, move or go deeper. Just let the experience organically unfold with presence. That's really where all the yoga is. Long, long, long. And then belly button to the spine. See how that deepens the stretch into the core of the muscle of the hamstring. Yep. Maybe the hands reach. Inhale the breath. Then exhale, we drape down. Breathe deeply. And then gently float up to neutral. And then this right hand palm turns up, grounded on the inside. Float the left arm. So we just open up initially, feeling that. And then bring this left hand to the sacrum. Keep the heart opening. Maybe sink a little deeper, inch the right hand towards the foot, possibly. And then just release the hand and just knife the arm forward, reaching long in the body. So you can see I made that adjustment for length. Heart keeps opening and maybe the foot's an access point. Breathe deeply. And then ground the right hand, and I'll float the left arm. Exhale it slowly down. Take a moment just to feel. We'll move out of this to Paschimottanasana, west facing stretch. So extend this left leg. Kind of work the sits bones back. So walk them back one little step. So we're kind of on the front of the sits bones, hands to shins. And then again, the action is up. Toes spread. Each of the feet. Grounding the backs of the legs. The shoulder blades kind of move down the back. Shoulders moving away from the ears here. Belly to the spine. So set all that. Let the body just slowly migrate into the form. Maybe the hands reach a little further. Stay with the breath. Just let the body migrate. Little wiggles into it deeper, but keep the front spine long. Here, big inhale. And exhale, just drape the body down. Head releases. Ooh. Yeah. And then belly to the spine. Gently walk the hands back up the legs here. And I'm going to spin around and we'll together make our way onto our backs here. Breathe in. Then reach long, so the hands and arms long over the head. Full body stretch. Maybe walk the pelvis a bit. Ooh. And then hug the knees into the chest. So hugging the knees. And then Setu Asana. We know this is bridge pose. So bend the knees. Here the feet are flat. Ground the upper arms. We're going to come into this kind of straight away. Ground the upper arms. And then inhale, lift the hips, and then shimmy the shoulder blades underneath you by externally rotating the upper arm bones, and then interlace the fingers. And then with an inhale, lift the hips higher still. The chin is lifting, so the back of the neck is nice and long. Stay with the breath here. Ooh. Uh-huh. And then gently ground the right foot and float the left leg, and just imagine just planting the left foot onto the ceiling and just lift it up and up and up. Breathe in here. And then gently release down. And we'll switch this out. So ground the left foot and reach the right foot to the sky. Just up and up and up. Breathe here. Stay with the breath. And then release the leg down. And lift the hips again. And then lift the heels. And then send the arms long over the head. And then just imagine that you're lifting the pubic bone as you release the spine from the neck slowly all the way to the hips. And then when the hips land, the heels can then land. Supta Baddha, Konasana, recline down angle so the knees float open. Soles of the feet come together. Bring the left hand to the heart area, the right hand to the belly. Close the eyes. And just breathe. Back into wholeness. Perception of silence. Babaji would tell us that the divine speaks a language. And he said, first, only the heart can hear it. And the language is in silence. The language is in silence. Carefully float the knees towards one another. Give them a little hug here. Into the chest, you can rock side to side, little massage of your spine. And then Viparita Karani Mudra, or inversion here. We know this, the hands ground. If you're newer, it's kind of like a half shoulder stand, legs up the wall, form V-shape with the body. Float feet, hips, hands to the low back. And then ground the hips into the hands. And just kind of feel the weight press through the arms. Chin is lifting again, so back of the neck is happy. And so very gently, we'll make our way out of this. So release the hips from the hands. Hands, earth, hips. Slowly float down here. Hugging the knees. There's like this natural endurance that develops in the present moment where, nothing else matters. So pre-Shavasana, breath retention, legs extend, feet roll open, palms turn up. Exhale the breath. And then take a nice big inhale. Hold the breath in and just wait on it. And gently exhale your breathing and go to the very bottom of your exhale. And then hold the breath out for a moment. And then the belly breath is the inhale. Smooth breathing, friends. We'll do one more of those. So cue to pooch up the belly, those you hold the breath. Exhale. Inhale. Hold the breath. Pooch out the belly. Gently exhale. Go to the very bottom of the breath again. Hold the breath for a moment. Inhale gets the belly breath. Just get comfortable here in Shavasana. Allowing your experience to be of the silence. we can begin to interpret or feel even a sense of oneness with the silence. It's a peace, even. The language of the gods is in silence. And just gently let your breath extend here, float the belly, a little deeper breathing, and adding a little bit of movement to the body, the turning of the ankles and wrists, and A little stretch. The arms will end up on our left side. Maybe a little hug in the knees to the chest there at some point. Left side eventually. Excuse me. And make your way to a seated position here. So if there's anyone that's newer on the stream, we still have about, 20 minutes or so practice, a little pranayama in our meditation. Typically, a little elevation under the pelvis can be helpful. This allows the knees to ground, which then allows for the hips to relax into the seated position. And so just get comfortable there. Whatever you may need to do to be comfortable in the seated position is essential. We'll be doing just two practices here for our pranayama. Dirga Rechak and Dirga Purak. They're very simple, and at the same time, they invite a thinning of the veil between the perception of identification of the object to identification of the subtle aspect, the causal aspect of the object. Dirga Rechak, what we'll do first, it simply means extended exhalation. So with a yogic breath, beginning by extending the belly outward, continuing to inhale, the ribs expand, continuing to inhale, the chest lifts and expands, but then slowly, 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 as slow as possible, exhale out all the air. Go to the very bottom of the exhale. And then, of course, your next inhale begins. Dirga Rechak Pranayama. Extended exhale. The practice of pranayama is essential. There's a number of things, a number of benefits that one receives in pranayama practice. Primarily, though, it increases the volume or quantity of prana, life force energy inside the being. And it purifies it. The value of this is then it allows for the capacity of your perception to become energetically sensitive. The capacity of your perception becomes energetically sensitive. And with your next exhalation, gently complete this practice. And we just simply move on to Dirga Purak, and we flip it. And it means extended inhalation. So now, with the yogic breath, we slow the inhale down as much as we can. One may feel the effects of the practice, the stillness, the inner quality of silence. And then with your next exhalation, complete this round of Dirga Purak. The dharana of the sadhana, the concentration, is on the experience of peace or silence, stillness. if there's any modification of the mind, if there's any vritti that comes into the chitta, shadow that thought or that movement of mind with the mantra of Om. It's as if the thought is the snowflake and Om, its shadow, is its cause, its substratum. The body is perfectly still, and one is disassociating from it, identifying entirely with the stillness. Om as the shadow. Gently let your breath lengthen here. And then just notice the energy that's perceiving your breathing and the quality of stillness that still is apparent. And recognize that those perceptions coexist. And for the yoga practitioner, it's the perception of the stillness and its continuity, its capacity to be perceptibly sustained is the relevance. And gently let the hands float to prayer here, and chanting of the mantra of Om together, just releasing the breath, and it's the subtle one, so inhaling here. Om. Namaste, friends. Ooh. All right, I'm just going to slip here a little closer. Thank you, Laurie. Yeah, thank you, friends. Another beautiful session of yoga. And thank you, Sarah. You're so very, very welcome. Gretchen, same, very welcome. So stay kind of dialed in. I actually have another kind of a big announcement. So I've been asked to put together, you're welcome, Stephanie, some workshops for some YTT 300-hour type students type. You're very welcome, Maggie. And so in April, I'm doing 2 workshops, and they're also going to be live and in person. And they'll be, the dates aren't in front of me right now, but I'll be promoting those through social media and things. And so stay tapped in on some of that action. And there's going to be great workshops. One's called The Dawn of Time, and the other is on karma. You're welcome, Sam. Yeah, you're welcome, Leslie. And so those are coming up too. So new studio class, hi Crystal, 2 workshops come down the pipeline, and then I'll be traveling for a couple weeks. Stay tuned in. Send me a note from on the road, and we'll see about streaming the next couple weeks if I can find some might be in the middle of the desert and streaming right from the middle of the desert. So that would be wonderful. And recognize that this stillness is always there. It's always a part of our capacity, and it's just our ability to turn towards it in our way of perceiving, and so always have those reflections. And Venmo thing, appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Gretchen, yeah, need some healing stuff. I've been holding down the line, for the last couple months, and need a little space. And so love, peace, everyone. Love, peace. All right. Take care.